The Design Review Subcommittee meeting for the City of San Clemente, December 10th. And two of us are present, waiting on the third, Scott McCon. And so let's go ahead and get started with the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from October 15th. Have you had a chance to?
Yeah, they were fine with me. Were you at that meeting? You were. Yeah, it looks like.
I think
you
I
were.
was here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can vote
Yeah, I
on
was
it
here.
then. So I move approval of the minutes from November, or is it
October
October 15th, 2025.
Okay. I second and
I vote yes.
approve. Okay, that's approved. So this one. Okay, then we also have the minutes for October 29th.
I don't think you were there.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, so then,
So we have to, I don't know if we have to wait. I
We'll
think we
have
have
to
to wait for Scott on that one.
yeah.
So, take it back. I don't know if I should, do you want to text him?
Yeah, I can do that.
I hear voices. No?
I did today,
Yeah.
I listened to it.
Yeah, he's on the phone. He's right there, I see him. I recognize his tennis shoes.
Come on in. We started without you.
Good. I'm glad.
Let's do the meeting minutes. He's here. He was here, I think.
So we're looking at the meeting minutes for November 12th.
Yep.
You were here for that? Did you
Yep.
review it?
Yes.
Oh, wait, it says he was absent. Never mind.
Which day?
I'm confused. It says you were here, he was absent.
Okay. I thought
On November 12th?
Yeah,
I thought that was the case.
and then it says you were absent on the 15th, so let's redo it. So I'm gonna,
Okay, you were here on the 15th of October, but not the 12th of November. And we never had approved that one
Oh, okay.
because it wasn't. an
I'm going to, for reconsideration, remove approval of the minutes from October 15th.
Second.
And then I vote in favor of the minutes.
All right, so that one's signed.
And then I'll move approval of the minutes of November the 12th.
And I'll second.
And then I vote in favor.
Okay, me
Abstain.
as well.
There we go.
Got that out of the way, and you already signed this one. That's good. I'm not sure why it's in here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 2, architectural review of the following items. We have 2 items today. First one is a public hearing, project 24-139, minor conditional use permit at La Casa Verde Outdoor Display at 130 Avenida Granada. I'm assuming you all are here for that,
It's
maybe
James
Just
for
the
both.
two of us.
and Alan Botus.
You guys are here for both of them, or just for
Just
the one?
Just for
One.
Granada.
Just for Granada, okay. So just as a reminder, we're not an approval board. We evaluate the projects and make a recommendation to the planning commission for the minor conditional use permit. Although the 3 of us do sit on the planning commission, there's 4 other people on there, so you know, it's I guess it's up to you whether you want to go along with our direction. It's usually a good idea, but this is an open forum, more of an informal meeting, so that we can have discussion. So we'll start with staff report, and then we allow public to make comments for or against. And then we'll have we'll have some questions certainly, and then we'll have a discussion at the end. And that can be fairly open, although it's not completely open. We need to call on you guys for you to, make comments, just to have some sort of order in here, all right?
Do you guys
Okay,
want
so-
to sit at the table closer, or are you good?
Good.
Okay.
So they are the applicants,
Yes,
and they are who again?
I'm
James
sorry.
and Ellen Bodas?
yes.
Okay, and they're the operators.
The owners of
Owners
the
of the
property.
building.
You're the owners of the building.
And the business.
And
So
the
you're both.
operators, the
Yes.
applicants.
Got it. You're the property owner and the operator.
Correct.
Got it. Great, great, great. Welcome to the meeting. Thanks.
All right, we'll get started. So this is a Cultural Heritage Subcommittee meeting for item 2A, PHP 24139. It's at Casa Verde de Granada at 130 Avenida Granada. It's a minor conditional use permit for outdoor display. The property is in the mixed use, in the mixed use 3 zone, in the architectural overlay in the central business district, and also the pedestrian overlay. The site is a commercial lot, and in 1928 the lot was developed with a single-story Spanish colonial revival building and is on the city's designated historic structures list. It was a residence that was converted into commercial use, and the property owners, James and Ellen Bodas, operate La Casa Verde Granada for retail purposes and display antiques, furniture items, decor, clothing items, and outside and within the building. We received a public complaint for the outdoor display, and a code enforcement case was opened for the unpermitted outdoor display merchandise in the 2 required parking spaces. The applicant was instructed to apply for the minor conditional use permit to allow the outdoor display. They have to still have access to the required parking spaces until the MCUP is obtained, or parking waivers or off-site parking agreements to allow the outdoor display. The project was heard through the zoning administrator on September 4th, 2025, and the zoning administrator referred the item to the Cultural Heritage Subcommittee for review and the Planning Commission for a decision due to the concern of the visual impacts on the historic structure and the impacts to parking. The outdoor display occupies the required parking spaces, so the site requires parking waivers or off-site parking agreement, which the applicant at this time has not yet applied for. Staff's analysis is that the allowance of outdoor display to replace the parking area would provide visual benefit to the street scene and the pedestrian access.
Can you say that sentence again?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. That we believe that it is provides a visual benefit to the street scene and the pedestrian
What
overlay.
provides a visual benefit?
If they were to maintain the outdoor display by doing like an off-site parking agreement or doing parking waivers
Okay, so what you're saying is
to eliminate the parking.
so you don't want cars parking in front of the building. That would
Well, I
impede
think
the
what
view.
she's saying is that the display that staff believes is actually a benefit as opposed to not having the display out there. Is that what you're saying?
If they choose to do this and go for the minor conditional use permit, they would have to pursue an off-site parking agreement or get parking waivers to replace what's required in the front setback. They might also need to do some other improvements, like close the drive apron so that no one's trying to park in that area. But right now, as the site stands, they're supposed to keep the 2 parking spaces in the drive area because that's what's required. So
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
And so staff is saying, you think that not having cars parked there and having the outdoor display is a benefit to the property as opposed to having 2 cars parked there in front of the house?
Staff believes there's a potential benefit. That was a primary question raised by the zoning administrator when the zoning administrator referred this to you all to see whether you concur with that finding. A finding like that would have to be made by the planning commission in order to approve the loss of parking and the allowed outdoor display in this area, that it's somehow beneficial to the public aesthetically.
Okay, and what is a parking waiver? Does that just mean that we
Scott, what
can?
about if we just let her finish, and then we can.
Sorry, okay, that sounds wonderful, I will.
I'm assuming you have more.
That's an upcoming.
No, just to say
I
that.
mean, I think we do need to hear about the zoning, what the zoning actually requires, and is there a site plan that shows
we
the
don't have a
setback?
site plan right now. We don't have a site plan.
That was also a recommendation by the zoning administrator, who asked the applicants if they could develop a site plan, and then also gave them some latitude to develop a parking solution alternative. As of this meeting, they haven't developed that, so the primary question we have is, do you even think this is a good idea, essentially?
Okay. And you mentioned that this is a cultural heritage meeting as opposed to design review meeting. So does that mean we're only supposed to consider the impact on the historic structure? Or can we also make recommendations regarding the zoning that's sort of non-compliance? Are you looking for input on that as well?
This would affect the zoning of a historic structure and the use of that structure, which, I don't know if Laura was quite finished, if you read the reports, there have been a variety of uses on both of these structures over the years.
Okay.
And if you're contemplating approving an outdoor display, which would be the first time this use was legally permitted, then you could comment on how that fits in with the zoning.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and finish?
I'm sorry, we're just saying that staff's analysis is that allowance of outdoor display to replace the parking area would provide a visual benefit. But we're looking for your feedback on certain items like landscaping to soften the outdoor display, setback items near the property line, a transition from the right of way, possibly concentrating the display to show clear line of sight to the accessory structures. Oh, sorry, thank you. And then also limit the height of items near the sidewalk and the parking, and locate taller items closer to the building, and possibly limit the display to key items to enhance the architecture of the historic building.
Okay. Sorry, do you have some questions?
What is it, you say they could either do a parking agreement with some neighboring property owner, or
yes.
get a parking waiver? What exactly does get a parking waiver mean? Does that
They
mean
have
that-
to apply for it, and if there is parking available, then we would issue the parking waivers to replace the 2 parking spaces required.
There are
on site.
findings required for that. There was a city council approval of a program both for downtown and then for the greater city almost 20 years ago. It said we can approve 180 parking waivers. We've approved about 60 of those so far. Some of them have also been denied because the decision maker couldn't make the findings to approve the waiver. You have to find that there's available parking in the vicinity, which should be tricky here because there's not very much available parking in the downtown area. There are public street spaces and then there's some public lots, but in the past we've required an analysis to show that essentially there's underused parking nearby. And then the other thing is if you're in the coastal zone, you have to convince the coastal commission that that's a good idea, and people have had a hard time doing that. So a parking waiver is essentially, the city waives the requirement. You don't have to provide the parking, you don't have to pay a fee, you don't have to get an set agreement. We just say it's all good, there's no problem here.
So is that done administratively, or does that go to planning commission or council?
Per the code, there's like the city planner can issue 1 or 2 space waivers, the zoning administrator is like 2 to 5, and the
Okay.
planning commission is sometimes 2, sometimes 5. And there's certain ones where you can't get more than a certain number. I think in this instance, we haven't formally decided how many, or the applicant hasn't indicated how many waivers they would need, but in the past, if you read the staff report that the zoning administrator considered, they seem to have approximately 2 legal parking spaces in the past in that drive apron. And if those spaces were to be occupied now by outdoor display, they'd be at least 2 parking spaces short. This property is also operated in the past as like a daycare center. It's operated as a few other things, which would have to have more than 2 parking spaces. If it's retail, they're probably 2 spaces short.
Okay.
So what does zoning require for that use?
Oh, we said.
There's some interpretations that the zoning administrator considered and the planning commission could further consider. If it's just the retail use of the inside of the facility as a business selling goods, it's probably 2 spaces. If you wanted to count it more conservatively and also count up all the area outside as a retail area where they're storing the outdoor display goods, there could be a finding that more than 2 spaces or more than 2 offsite agreements or waivers is required. So probably 2 to 3, 2 to 4.
Okay, I didn't mean to cut in.
No, you're good.
So there was never any sort of a approval of, let's say, retail tied to a specific use or site plan?
We may want to hear the applicant's presentation soon. I think that the applicants would tell you that in this location they've been running retail for a while, and there's been some informal outdoor display for a while, and there were other uses for a while. And then certainly at the property on Del Mar, there's been various outdoor display uses where the applicants feel they should be given some kind of latitude or credit for previous uses that
Yeah, I guess my question though is there anything on file for this property?
Yeah.
Of an approval of this use?
Yes,
Which
business license.
designates a certain number of parking spaces?
Yes, business license designate 2 spots on the
for
drive.
interior retail
Got it,
inside the building.
got it. Okay.
And this came up based on a complaint from a citizen?
Yes.
Just one complaint?
Just one.
And what was the specific complaint?
Was just for outdoor unpermitted outdoor display. So there was no minor conditional use permit on file for the display.
So the complaint just basically said, we don't think you should have it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Okay. The displays that are there in the photo appear to spill out into the right-of-way. Is that the case?
Do we have more photos? Do you want to attach a bunch more?
Yes, I did. So primarily on the drive.
Do we know where the property line is? The right-of-way line?
You know what? I have to go back. Let's.
Because there's a sidewalk that looks like
I don't know if
on
I can.
the-
Can I go back?
on the other side.
You can use this. to
Oh, gotta
backwards.
go back. Thank you. So let's see. So I would say probably at the top of the drive, if it's the fence there. The property was remodeled in 2009 to improve the Spanish colonial revival architecture, and so at that time that
In
would have been addressed.
2010? Did you say?
2009,
Nine,
right?
okay.
2009.
2000. Yeah, that's reopened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that included modifications to the building and the
To,
site,
to improve the Spanish colonial revival architecture.
but not a change in the footprint?
Yes, I think so.
Was there a change in the footprint of the building?
No, just oh, you did add the accessory. Accessory. So let's see if I can show you. Was that this was converted? The garage was converted.
Right, we opened it, we put a double door.
Yeah, the garage was converted and the parking was allowed on the drive.
Okay, but that structure was there already,
It was a garage.
an open garage. Okay, so you changed the garage door to gates, basically.
Yeah.
What about that, the wall there in the front? My guess is that that's on the property line,
That's,
I believe so.
okay? Which means that displayed, are those just for convenient seating, or are those actually sellable items?
what are we talking about?
Oh.
The stuff that's out in the
Outside of that
in the
fence?
right-of-way area, yeah.
Like the blue chair and the
Blue
Oh,
little
chair
side
and the
table.
table.
Yes, they're for sale.
It's all for sale.
It's all for sale.
Okay,
Customers like to
But
sit there.
we have totally changed the front.
You
because
have.
We we were asked by the last meeting if we would just make sure that a car
That one
or
right
two-
there.
or 2 cars can be parked there.
Oh, that's how it is now.
So it is
I'm sorry.
open now, so you can get 2 cars there. I'd hate to see an Escalade park up there, you know, or 2 large cars, because I just think it'd be dangerous.
okay, so the previous photo,
Those are all,
you've changed it, now you've pulled everything back.
since our last meeting, he just said, would you please tone it down? That's what we've been doing, and that's what we did. So my son just delivered a piece of furniture and he parked his truck, which is a pretty big truck, right up along that fence or that terracotta wall over there. And no issues. The only problem we have on this side here is our orange trees have gotten so big, I could probably bring those down and then it'd be easy to get 2 cars in there. Hate to
Okay,
see
so-
it, but I'll do it if I have to.
Okay. Cameron, did you have any questions for
No, I'd
staff?
like to just hear from the applicant.
Yeah, if you guys got a sort of presentation that you want to make to us
Not really.
today?
We did a presentation last time. We've been here for 16 years. I love the idea that we're recycling furniture. I pick up stuff and paint it, fix it up, make sure that it's saleable for people who aren't going to the major stores. We keep our prices down, so hopefully we can move furniture out and help people out who don't want to spend a lot of money. I've been into recycling since I got out of Vietnam in '69, and I picked up furniture off the street. I fixed up my wife's and myself, our whole house with furniture that people were dumping. And it's sad. I go to the dumps once in a while and look to see what people are throwing away. It makes me sick. So this is the reason I opened the business 16 years ago. And now it's basically all family. My daughter, my son, my niece, my wife, and myself run it.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'd like to keep it the way it is. I don't need to have all that inventory out there. I'd be more than happy to have the 2 parking spots available to anybody who wants to park there. I just really think it's very dangerous coming up this area it's so steep there. People are always scraping their cars up, and with the walkway, I hate to see a car parked there and into the walkway.
So your, I guess, position on this is that, the parking, you prefer not to have the parking.
I would prefer
On
not to, but
site.
I'll do it if the city is making me do that. I talked to my neighbors, wish I could remember her name, but she owns the parking lot to the south side of us, and I guess at one point, the preschool that was here in the 80s and 90s leased parking spots from her. And so I've got a call into her. She has not returned my call. I'm waiting to hear from her to see if I can get 2 parking spots. I'd be more than happy to lease 2 out. I thought it was Sam's Shoes. It's not. It's a lady who owns the
Okay. So, the issues we have in front of us here are a couple. One is, how does this impact the, sort of visual of the historic structure, which, as you know, in the city of San Clemente, we're committed to preserving, our heritage, which is this Spanish village by the sea, of which there's actually quite a few structures, that come into play here. So we're looking at that. And the other issue, I believe, is that we're very short on parking in this downtown area. And so to just let a couple stalls go, even though it's only 2, it has an impact. So those are the things we have to consider. It sounds like, from what you're saying, that you're willing to apply for a waiver to see if that can be approved. And then we can also discuss, I think, amongst us, how this display might work better. I mean, you've already made an effort.
I heard that they were willing to pursue off-site parking. That's what I heard him say.
We are still, yes,
That's what I
working
heard.
on that.
Off-site
Okay.
parking.
So waiver and/or some other solution.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot in the middle of 2 parking lots.
Yeah.
It looks like there's plenty of parking. Just gotta allocate 2 for you somewhere.
And it should be very easy because that lot is, I've never seen it filled in 16 years that I've been running the business. And some days there'll be 6 cars there out of, I don't know, 35 parking.
And those are both public.
No, those are both
No,
privately
those
owned.
are private.
Right next door, the private.
That's
and
the
then-
off-site
The other
parking
side
agreement they
to
would
the,
pursue.
to the,
I don't think I can read this.
yeah, one side is private and then there is a public, for maybe 6 or 8 cars.
On the
And,
other-
These ones, are these the publicly owned ones?
right.
Right, those are
This,
all.
this is
Yeah.
private, this
Of
is
course, that's the
private.
one that's full.
This one is always private.
That's public
And then there's more public kind of up
and there
here,
is public up
up
there.
there.
Yes.
But it's always full. So
It's full at 7 in the morning because it's all Billy's people, so, from the deli.
Right.
the agreement, though, you're allowed to have an agreement with the private entity, and as you're saying, if there's
Correct.
excess capacity here, that would be an easy finding to make, to say these are privately owned, they're always empty.
That's what I
They can reallocate 2 of them, and they can do that subject to your own negotiation. You don't
Yeah,
need the city to help you with
exactly.
that.
Like I said, her name is Kathy, by the way, and I'm gonna try to get back to her again. I'm a little upset that she has not at least returned my calls.
Yeah.
So that, Zach, would that be a recorded agreement on the property, so that another user, let's say you sold your business or whatever, come in and that would carry with the property, or how would that work?
I don't think the code requires it to carry with the property. That might be a burden on the other property owner who wouldn't want that on their deed. But
So
they
what
do
kind
have,
of an
they
agreement
do have
would
to
it
reach
be?
an agreement between the current owners for a certain period of time that says between this owner and this owner for this use, we're allocating 2 spaces, but they could set it up so that it expired at some point.
And or it's reevaluated with the
Yeah,
new
with the
use?
change of use or new ownership.
Okay, so it's just some sort of written agreement signed by both property owners?
Yeah, and that would still be considered by the planning commission to see if that was a good idea or not.
Okay. All right, so why don't we have some discussion? Cameron, you got any thoughts?
I would say, do we have any public comments on this that we should maybe take?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Anybody else here to,
No, these
Speak
are all the
on this.
applicants.
There were a few comments on the zoning administrator item. We attached a digital link to the staff report that was heard a few months ago, and there were some comments, a good number of comments in support of the business, saying that it's
Yes.
a value to the community and they don't think the parking is needed. And then there were 1 or 2 comments asking about ADA access and the effect of not requiring that, although it doesn't appear to be an ADA accessible space today.
right,
Okay, I mean, I would suggest we kind of just walk through the staff recommendations on this one. That start with the plant and maintain landscaping.
I think that's a good idea. Have you guys reviewed those, the staff recommendations? No?
Okay,
So you guys didn't provide,
They typically send it to the applicants, that it would have been gone to your email.
Oh, that's too bad, my computer's down.
Oh,
I never use it because,
Yeah, I can give you mine.
Mine's fine.
Oh, okay. So we were just talking about, maintaining the landscaping. You guys do have some landscaping that, in the front and on the side,
right,
that helps, soften the outdoor display. The one thing we talked about is possibly, setting back items, from the property line, so there's a clear transition from the sidewalk and right-of-way to your property, and concentrating the display possibly to one side, maybe even in the enclosed area, so that you have a clear access point to the a clear access point to, you have the shed gate garage going to the garage there, so that they can access the items inside and in the back. Let's see, like here there's just a few items, so if it was just a little bit
Okay.
clear and
it looks ambiguous, but there's a lot of space to park 2 cars there. Okay, and again, it's my orange trees, unfortunately, who are hanging over and makes it look like there's not a lot of space there, but there is. And anything that's in the back, further in the back, is really out of the way for cars to park.
Oh,
So
yes,
this-
yes.
It's very open for 2 cars to park here.
Okay, and just maintaining that visual allowance, keeping the items that you do have in the front limited to 42 inches. That way it's visible for
Got it.
parking, and then also we can see the historic home clear. Like we said, I know sometimes that you do have like patio furnitures, like umbrellas, if it was a little bit closer to the historic property, and then maybe off to one side, so that we're keeping the visual of the historic property available, and then limiting the display to key items, so that there's certain things that you're displaying outside, and it's not over.
It's not excessively cluttered.
Thank you. So that's what staff's recommendations for the outside.
So it seems like, based on their kind of, let's say, reconfiguring and decluttering, that there are 2 parking spaces there right now that are usable, accessible.
Yes,
Yes, there is.
there are,
Okay.
and yes.
So if that's the case, is parking still an issue? I'm asking staff.
If the applicants choose not to close the curb cut and use the space for outdoor display and pursue the parking waivers or the parking agreements, then they would have to maintain the 2 parking spaces on site.
Are you guys,
Either way,
I'm also a little confused. I think we had hoped the applicant would express their preference or your potential agreement with the neighbor. What you're doing now is probably fine. It sounds like that's what you were asking. This still needs a permit. You need a permit from the city for any outdoor display, even if you're not blocking
Yeah.
the parking.
Yeah.
Just selling stuff
Okay.
outside requires a permit.
right, but
So
if
you're on
they,
borrowed time now. The zoning administrator said just kind of scoot it back. You still need a
Right.
permit for outdoor display.
Okay.
If you want to keep this parking open all the time, they're probably not making their condition any worse than it was before. There might be some concern with code enforcement that, stuff like this tends to migrate over time and might not remain in that exact position. But as of now, it does look like you can have both outdoor display and parking.
I would ask, do you sell furniture basically? Is that what you're
We
saying?
sell everything.
Well, yeah, our backyard is filled with 4 different sheds that have vintage things, stuff. It's not all furniture, clothes,
I see.
etc. We got that back tree is covers our whole backyard, and we have garden stuff back there and what have you.
Vintage
The furniture is
clothing.
inside. We hardly have anything outside, and now we because of our last meeting, we were working on getting nothing out here, except for maybe patio furniture, like there is a table and 4 chairs right there, but they're right up against the building.
so you say you have stuff in the backyard. Is that just storage back there? Or?
No, it's to sell.
Full display, that's.
So people go back there?
People go back
all
there,
the
yes.
time.
So your retail area includes the backyard, the front yard, and the building.
Okay, that's
Pretty
cool.
much.
yep.
And
Do you-
that's probably more than 2 spaces. I don't know, but is that?
Well, what I'm getting at is, do people come and take delivery from your location? Do they come with their truck or their car to your site and load it up? And
Periodically, my son we deliver through all of Orange County actually, but we deliver for free through San Clemente, San Juan, and Dana Point. So we will do that for our customers.
Because I was just thinking that's a pretty convenient place to load for people that want to.
And if
But
they
do a big
can,
purchase.
yes, exactly. If they're purchasing a piece of furniture that's in the house, they can back in right there, and we can help them load if they decide they want to do that themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my preference would be to recommend that they do pursue a off-site parking because they're between two parking lots. There's tons of parking in the lots. I wouldn't justify a waiver in that situation, and hopefully they could get a favorable agreement, and that we just figure out a way to have an MOU or some kind of an agreement on the clutter and just keeping it to a limited amount in the front,
Right.
and that you would direct people to the back where you could have a bigger display so
Sure.
people could go see
Sure.
it, and that what you have out here isn't, enough to advertise that what you're doing. And then people, would it be, because to me, I think from my perspective, actually, if it's pretty inviting when it's open like that, when it's cluttered, to me, I don't feel like it's as welcoming, but when it's open like that, and maybe you could even put some kind of a indicator like this is the entrance, and so people know. I mean, I think that's, to me, where I think this should go
Sure.
when you do your MCUP approval.
Okay.
And then just look at these staff recommendations, which you kind of have done, like provide, just some landscape. And I think on your landscaping, it's just the orange tree is a little bit, just trim back a little bit, and I think you're good,
Yeah.
right? And you've already reorganized this to do to set back the outdoor display. And it looks like now there's a clear path to your entrance, and you're putting all the taller stuff in the back. I'm just reading through what they're asking you to do. And this way, the view of the historical building is perfect. It's very clear, it's well framed, it's well maintained. To me, that would be the direction I would recommend, that to meet all the criteria. And I think,
And we will continue to work on cleaning everything up in front too, whether I've got three orange trees, which I put in 17 years ago, and Shore Gardens promised me they'd only last for 6 years, and they just keep growing. So I will trim them back though.
and they'll grow back. And they'll grow back.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Our
I pretty much concur with what you're saying. I think that, we're also considering the visual aspect of this historic structure. And the fact that you have that, it looks like maybe a 4-foot-high wall with the tile,
Right.
I think helps to screen some of the display items.
Correct.
But the thing that bothers me is the stuff in front that's completely visible, and even sort of wraps around the corner there. Is there any way that you could clean that up? And that would be a place, I think, to add some landscape containers.
Right.
Because that to me looks very cluttered. I don't
Well,
know.
I think it looks a heck of a lot better when you're here.
When
I
you-
agree, I don't like the look of that, right? That photograph makes it look very junky, and I don't like that.
Okay.
That was too much stuff, I agree, and that's why we toned it down.
I mean, is there any way to limit it to the, sort of behind the wall? Because there's not that many items there, it doesn't look like. But to me, that takes away from the character of the building, all that stuff. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
All of our customers say that we're the best curated store that they've ever been to for a thrift shop, whatever. And you guys have to come and see it in person, because picture just doesn't do justice. But everybody says we're the best looking. You've been to our store, right?
I live in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, and that may be, especially on the inside, and you have, you got the backyard, I don't know how big it is, but it sounds like it's a pretty decent amount of space. I don't think it's too much to ask to clear out just the area at the facade there and right on the corner, and consider adding some landscape. I mean, you're still gonna have a lot of outdoor display area that technically exceeds the, unless you get a minor use permit.
You're saying, Steve, are you saying that the display area would be inside the wall?
The courtyard. Yeah,
in there.
Here and also in the back, right?
Right.
yeah, that way, as you approach, you have landscape that sort of leads you into the main entrance. You still have a lot of area.
This
For
is
display.
all landscaped right here.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm
Yeah,
talking
there's
about,
nothing there.
I'm talking about over
Like
there.
he
in
wants
front of-
Under the windows is what he's talking about.
There.
Because the wall actually does give you a nice foil, I think, for the building. And it also gives you an area where you can sort of have an outdoor display area. But to me, and again, I'm just expressing my opinion, but I think that takes away from the quality of the architecture because it's so open right there. Other than that, I concur with what Cameron suggested. What do you think, Scott?
I have a question. Since you guys have kind of decluttered the front and let's say recreated the 2 parking spaces, how long ago was that? Approximately.
Maybe when we did it,
Decluttered,
Yeah,
we had when did we have our last meeting here?
September
I don't remember.
September, wasn't it?
2 months
September
ago.
4th.
And we attempted just a little at a time to get
3
everything
months ago.
to bring it back
Okay.
until about a week ago, we said, okay, we gotta clean everything up. And I said, we're having a meeting, so.
okay. So in the last week, there's effectively been 2 parking spaces in front of the home.
There have been, yeah.
How many people have used those? Is
No.
anybody parked in there?
My
Now,
son
what-
delivered.
In 16 years, not one person has ever said, can we park on your driveway?
I
They
guess
said,
we had one person from Los Angeles say, my only complaint about this place is that there's no parking in front of the store. And I don't know, LA, I'm thinking, oh,
Well, admittedly, I would feel awkward pulling in to the driveway. I mean, it's not clear
Well, the
if
other,
that's parking.
the
Is that
other
what you were
thing-
getting at?
the other thing too, with what my daughter was saying is when you drive up here and you have kids coming into our store, because we have a lot of young kids coming in with their families and things, so dangerous for them to be backing up here, and it's so steep right there that, again, people are scraping their cars up when they're making a turn to, like a turn to leave. And then we have a fire hydrant, which of course we can't do anything about that, but there's just not a lot of room to do
I think parking in front of it would be a detriment to the property. I don't think parking in the driveway is positive.
Well, I'll agree with you, and I do agree with you. I think it looks inviting and welcoming
Correct.
as it is.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't think they need to go and, they're providing the parking spaces. If people choose not to use them and park somewhere else, which is what I'm guessing would happen. If I was gonna go there, I wouldn't pull in there. But that's not on you guys, that's on me, the client. So to me, they shouldn't have to go and get an off-site parking agreement, at least 2 spaces somewhere else, whatever. They're providing them. And if people choose not to use them, which realistically, very few people are gonna use them.
She
That's,
said nobody uses it.
well,
Nobody.
I didn't wanna say nobody.
Well,
But-
somebody may use them at once.
Someone might,
Yes.
you know, maybe, but
There's
that's
been
not their
stuff out there
problem.
till just now. That's,
Say that again?
there's been stuff there until recently.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand.
I agree.
Until about a week ago. But just, you know, it doesn't look like, because of, probably maybe it's because of the tile, it's just that, you know, I think very few people are gonna use them, but I don't think we should punish them because people choose not to use them. I think they've provided the 2 spaces, so the parking is a non-issue. I would love to see the front decluttered a little bit more. I don't kinda know how we do that other than just say no. on the-
Well, we're making a suggestion to
Yeah.
clear that front facade area.
We're just setting them up to come to the planning commission with a plan that they could present to us to get approval for their MCUP.
And
So-
one other issue, just
That's
to
it.
address what you're saying,
Sure.
is that the 2-space requirement is based on an interior retail area. This is spilled out into the backyard, into the front courtyard. So I'm guessing 2 stalls is not adequate if you've got, I mean, how many people do you get coming in? Like on the weekend, I assume you're pretty busy.
A lot of local people, yeah, and hardly anybody drives up to our store.
Yeah, they all walk over.
They're all
They're all local
locals, yeah.
customers.
Or they'll find parking someplace.
Like I
I know
said,
parking's an issue in San Clemente, but everybody knows that. You know, I mean, everybody knows that we don't have parking here. I can't, and I'm offering to get the two available, but I don't know how else we can do more if that's
I don't
what
think
you're
you need to
starting
do
ask.
more.
No, we're not saying.
I think I think we should leave it right there. He's offering to go explore, come to the planning commission. Did it work? Great. Are you comfortable with that? Cool. If it didn't work or you're not comfortable with it, we have that conversation.
So he's clear, because I'm not sure he is.
Yeah.
You're saying, go to the neighbor parking
Yes.
lots,
Correct.
attempt to get 2 designated spaces for you, see how that goes, and report to us at the planning commission.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
And if it's an agreement, a written agreement, then I would make the property owner aware that there's no encumbrance on your property. You're just allowing us to use a couple of your
I
spaces.
think she had the
Because-
same thing going with the preschool and it was there. I kind of wish that we would have talked about it when we opened this.
My hope is it's just a non-issue and that they agree to let them have a little sign. Because if you look, there's another angle of that building from the side and you can see the spots are reserved, the ones that are empty.
Right.
So,
Well, sure, but maybe they could say 2 spaces, La Casa Verde.
yeah,
Yeah, you can put a
exactly,
sign.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if you could just come to the hearing, the planning commission, with a little bit of a narrative from you guys about how long you've been in business, what you're doing there, who you're catering to, and that you now understand the display rules and you want to adhere to them. So, and just come in with, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And if you do that, work with the staff on what 1, 2, 3 are, which they have it written down in this report. You know, around the landscaping, keeping the items kind of in the courtyard and sort of decluttered in the front, so there's a clear walking path and a clear view of the building. And I think if you just summarize that, and that you understand that, and that you're in alignment or agreement with, yes, we want it to be welcoming, we want there to be a path, we want people to see our building and all that. That's all you need to do. Very simple. That's my feeling of what they need to do.
That's perfect.
I'm good.
And we'll look forward to meeting you again at the planning commission.
And when is that?
It'll be up to Zach
They'll let you know.
to work it out.
I'm
We
sure
need,
you will.
yeah, your site plan, and we need to find out a little bit more about the parking.
Whenever you're ready, sir. Whenever you're ready.
We are not scheduling it, we need a little something from you,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we'll just be following up in
Okay.
January.
You keep operating, if I could just say, keep operating the way you're operating now.
Thank you.
Love what you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you've done. And then just work with the staff through these little steps. And then when you're ready, it can be January, it can be February, when you're ready, come on in. And then we'll go through it, and then that's where your decision will be made. Is that good?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if it's helpful to you, I will do my best to swing by, do a little site tour, answer any questions you have, just so
That'd be
that
great, yeah.
you feel supported and comfortable.
Thank you.
Okay?
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
he's retired, so he can do that.
Yeah. You've been in here a long time. You're valued. We appreciate you, and we want you to make this. We want to make sure this process works for you.
We have 3 Ole Hansons. I appreciate that because I take great pride in fixing them and making sure they
It
look
looks that way.
original.
Thank you for being here, and
All right.
thank you for working with us. We
All right.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is a massive orange tree.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to come and get some
Well,
oranges.
that's not the
We
orange
pass them out
tree,
to our customers.
just the little ones.
Yeah.
in the
Nice to
front.
meet you.
Oh, it's the little one there,
It's the
yeah.
little ones in the front.
But he was talking about the one in the back.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of a tree that is, but it's not an orange
can't
tree.
tell.
That looks like a coral tree or something. I mean, it's
Something,
ginormous.
yeah.
That's a specimen tree if I ever saw
All
one.
right.
Some
Well-
big ficus.
Thanks for letting me
Yeah,
talk
perfect.
there at the end. I appreciate it.
Okay, so that was good for you guys. That's helpful. All right. So why don't we move on to the next one, which is also public hearing for minor conditional use permit. This one's at 228 Avenida Del Mar.
It's in the folder.
So why don't we hear the staff report on this one?
Do you want us to move or?
Please,
Yeah,
welcome.
you can sit
Join us
here.
up at the table. Introduce yourself. That would be wonderful.
I'm Sabrina Lane Irwin, nice to meet you. And
What is your relationship to the project?
I own the building.
You're the owner.
My dad, I own it with my brother, but
Uh-huh.
my brother he works for the State Department and is often overseas for many years at a time in places like South Africa or West Africa or whatever. So I handle everything. And before that, my dad bought the building in the 70s and he had his law practice there for decades until he unexpectedly passed away.
Okay. Okay, great. So
So-
it's been in the family a long time.
Yes, that was a decision we made as a family that it's kind of, my brother and I grew up there. As
Nice.
kids with my dad, and I worked there for years in high school for him, answering phones, so
Nice.
it was kind of an emotional.
Pleasant memories.
A lot of memories, and my parents lived in an Ole Hanson, so it was something we decided we want to try to hold on to and
Okay.
maintain.
Okay.
So that's the property owner, and then the applicant is Terry Murphy, and he's the one who's running Coastal Abode at this time.
Okay, and who do we have back here? Are you also?
Daughter.
You're the daughter, okay.
So she needs to learn
My
stuff.
name is Mike Irwin, and Sabrina and I are married.
Oh, got it. Okay, the
Okay.
husband. Gotcha. Okay, great. Glad the whole family's here.
We have a son that's in the Naval Academy. He's not here.
Fantastic. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thanks. Yeah, he's a sophomore now, and
That's
coming home for Christmas, so
fantastic.
we're excited.
He's no longer a plebe.
No longer a plebe.
He got through plebe year. Oh my gosh,
Rough.
plebe no more. I'm pretty happy.
Blessings, yes.
Were you in the Navy?
My son went through the Air Force Academy, and he's a
Okay.
major in the Air Force, so
Oh,
been through
congratulations.
that.
Thanks for his service.
All right, so we're here to hear cultural heritage before this cultural heritage subcommittee to hear item 2B, PHP 24058. This is for a minor conditional use permit at 228 Avenida Del Mar for outdoor display for Coastal Abode. So the project is located in the mixed use, in the mixed use 3 district, in the architectural overlay, the coastal zone overlay, and the central business district overlay. The site is a commercial lot, and it also was in 1928. The lot was developed with a single story Spanish colonial revival building and the city's designated historic structures list. And the building was constructed as a residence and was converted to commercial use. The commercial tenant and project applicant is Coastal Abode and leases the building for retail purposes, displaying large metal sculptures, garden statues, trellises, patio furniture with umbrellas, clothing items for resale, and miscellaneous sale items. So it too received a public complaint, and the city opened a code enforcement case for the unpermitted outdoor display of merchandise in the front of the property within 2 required parking spaces. A correction notice was issued to remove the outdoor display and obtain the approvals to maintain the outdoor display, which was required for the minor conditional use permit, and to pursue either parking waivers or an off-site parking agreement for the 2 required spaces. The project was heard before the zoning administrator on September 4th. Was heard on September 4th, 2025, and the zoning administrator referred the items to the Cultural Heritage Subcommittee for review and to the Planning Commission for a decision due to the public concerns for the project and the visual effects on the historic structure and the impacts to parking. Again, the outdoor display occupies required parking and requires a waiver or offsite parking agreement if they wish to get rid of the on-site parking, which the applicant has not yet applied for, and has expressed no desire to change the current parking configuration. Staff's analysis is that the allowance for outdoor display to replace the paved parking would provide a visual benefit to the street scene and the pedestrian experience if well designed. And to ensure this, staff requests feedback on several recommendations from the Cultural Heritage Subcommittee, and this will inform the applicant's preparation of the site plan and staff's recommended conditions of approval. And we recommend, again, the same thing, increase the landscaping to soften the outdoor display. Sorry, there we go. And setback items near the property line to show a clear transition from the right-of-way. Concentrate the display to one side and provide a clear line of sight to the accessory access. And then, a clear path to the entrance for the retail business, and limit the height to 42 inches of items that are near the sidewalk and the parking, and locate taller display items closer to the historic building, and then display key items to enhance the architecture.
Okay.
I think we have some more pictures.
Yes,
We can scroll
sorry.
through here too. Which one's the most current? These are approximately when the code complaint was
This
filed
one
a
with
year or
the
so
tree,
ago.
the one with the Christmas tree is the most current. That
Okay,
was
and then this was before
earlier.
the zoning administrator here,
Yes,
three,
yes.
3 months ago or so.
Mhm. Yes.
This was also before the ZA hearing. And this is more like what it looks like this week.
No, that was older. The one with the Christmas tree
That
is
was like
the.
that for a day. Sorry, excuse me. but There's.
It's been there for a while.
no.
That was around Halloween time, obviously.
No, it has, no, that's not true. There's probably a back date on that, on what time that was. That's not even close. That was only there for a couple days because I make all this artwork. I make the saber-tooth tiger, everything, the tables, the resin. I made a video today after I revamped the store, because I revamp it all the time to make it look nice. And
This
there's
is
a
the
clear
current.
view of the entire house. I cleared out that, if you go back.
So this is what's currently out there.
No, not at all.
I was out there on Monday.
No, you weren't, not like that.
I was.
Not
I
correct.
was there.
All right,
on
we don't need
Monday.
to have it.
No,
Yeah.
it's not, yeah. So,
Well, these are representative.
Represent, it's not,
photos
Right.
of
it's
yeah,
short
that's not,
period of time.
that was itty bitty. I just did my inventory, and those are the palettes I use for my inventory, and everything's gone there. The saber-tooth is over here. Those shrubs right here, I spent thousands of dollars. I got rid of the shrubs from here all the way back to Rare Society's parking lot. Cleared it out, put pea gravel, weed cover. It's beautiful. And the whole other side of the house next to Rare Society, this is all cleared out. These stepping stones are here. Those are all gone. This is gone.
Okay, well, you're moving in a good direction, so we don't,
It's
I don't think we need to discuss that anymore at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's
Let's talk about the
beautiful.
list. Did you guys also provide, I assume you provided,
So when the report goes out, we send it to the applicants. So it would have been sent to your email.
okay, can you confirm that you received these staff
The staff report.
recommendations?
When was that sent out?
I believe Friday.
No.
Last Friday. Okay.
No.
I'll check with the administrative.
Okay,
All I got was be at this meeting. I didn't really even know what the format was gonna be.
I'm not trying to butt in, but I do have video today of the front.
okay.
And
Well,
I talked to Rare Society next
I
door.
think what we'd like to
Yeah.
do is, now that you guys have wrapped up your report, and we can see that there are a list of items that they're recommending. We also received a letter, which I have here in front of me, which it's a pretty lengthy letter, but it talks a couple of key elements to it.
That was
Property
after
owner.
the zoning administrator meeting, October 9th I sent it, I think.
Okay, but there's,
It is.
at least
October
there's,
9th, yeah.
it's not even an implication, but it's a suggestion that the city is trying to take your property, and that's what did you guys read that?
Yeah.
I had pretty grave concerns based on listening to the meeting, and I put quotes in there from the zoning administrator. So that's I just wanna make clear that I was concerned about that, based on what was said by the zoning administrator, not based on conjecture.
So Zach, can you respond to that? Is there any attempt by the city to take property, and if there is, what does that mean?
The city
Is
has
that
no
clear?
intent to take the private property. You're correct. There was discussion at the zoning administrator hearing and is referenced in this letter about one potential parking alternative or solution that might benefit the public on the city's property would be to close the city's curb cut. And the applicant's concern is that that would change their direct access for loading and unloading and parking on their private property. That would not constitute a legal taking, and if the applicant doesn't want to move forward with that, the city's not going to go close the curb cut unilaterally. That was an option that the city thought might be amenable to an applicant if they were allowed to have reduced parking. There could be a co-benefit of closing the curb and improving the pedestrian experience on the sidewalk.
Okay.
But again, the city's not going to do that unilaterally. That was just a discussion item.
Understood. So there's quite a bit here, and I think did you guys read this? Scott, did you read this?
Yeah.
Okay, Cameron, you read it. So in addition to this, is there anything else that you wanted to present to us today?
I think a couple of things that I could note, and it was helpful to have Casa Verde beforehand, because they're both on the same agenda, and I see why they'd both be on the same agenda, but there are some marked differences that I think would be helpful for you all to know. It's the exact opposite in terms of Casa Verde says nobody wants to use this parking, but they're in a different spot. Where that is, my dad and we dealt with, we basically had two cars there. And if you show a picture of the building, I can show you how it was, to give you an idea of if you had parking in front.
Oh, so sorry. Let me see if I can go.
Right here, for years and years and years, there was an enormous macadamia nut tree right here, and an enormous orange tree here, taller than the building. And then my dad bonsai'd this, so they keep that going. And then my dad would park here, blocking this part of the building, depending on what vehicle he was driving. And then I would park here if I was working there, or the secretary or a client would park there. And so there were cars there. And part of what would go on is there was a chronic war with members of the public coming onto the private parking and going to the beach all day.
I think it is public.
They just want to park there. It didn't matter. There's big signs. Private parking, do not park here. And people would try to do it super fast and leave. My dad would come out and catch them, stop, don't park your car there. That's private parking. And they'd, give them the finger and leave. And I saw this happen all the time. I would get parked in. There were times my dad would have to walk home from work because he got parked in and couldn't get somebody to come tow the car. It was constantly having to fight that. And so then my dad put up a rope with things to rope people off, and he'd have to stop and undo the rope and then bring his car in and then rope it off and then open it for a client. Because of where it is, people will use the park, will use it. They'll take it.
And the size of it, it looks.
So that's a
kinda like
code
parking.
enforcement
Yeah.
issue.
So it's a chronic battle. So it's not the same as Casa Verde in that way. And so that's number one. I think that's helpful to know that that's what will be happening. Secondly, there will be cars there. There will be, people would pull up and want to drop things off for businesses all in the area. So great big vans and vehicles will be in front of the building. That's just what's going to be.
How many
So
spaces are there?
it was usually 2.
Only 2.
Exhaust for versus like.
So then, the way this works is, as the owner, I'm trying to be supportive of a business that I think it's nice that he makes artwork. People seem to really like it. From what I've heard from maybe talking to city council members, that they're getting feedback that's a majority positive about how this looks in front of a historic building. I think it's nice people get to walk into it. There's no store, there's no windows in the front of it so that anybody would know it's a store unless you probably have stuff displayed outside. So it invites people in and says, oh, this is a store. Could I have a situation where Terry's not running a business there and instead I've got a CPA, the place is closed, nobody sees it, you got cars parked in front. I could have that. I think that's a building in a great area. I could have different businesses and uses there. But I'm trying to be supportive of this use because I think it looks really nice and I feel like it benefits the public. The restaurant next door has outdoor seating. They love that there's fountains and garden things instead of cars sitting there. So I'm trying to be a responsible owner, facilitating a positive environment for everybody. But it, you know, it's been an office and it could be an office again and be something, be a different business. What I wanted to make clear with that is I don't want to give up the parking because it's really important to this particular business for dropping off and picking up large pieces. It's important to any other business that would be there.
But the way it's shown here, again, this may not be current. How do you park in there? Where do you park?
Oh, well, if you see it, here, we go back to that.
There's a kind of an aerial
Yeah.
view.
Yeah, all this.
That was older though. Oh, sorry.
Well, still, at least it shows us
Sorry.
the whole
Yeah,
property.
and I have, there's a video, I mean, this is how it is,
Okay,
this is how it's been for months.
So
I can't-
can you just describe?
Yeah, can you get like a close up?
That's the Rare Society isn't there yet.
I can't-
believe.
Can you do a different
Oh, is that
one
the
where you
worst?
see, no?
That's
That was
this is a just
There was
a
another
report.
sort of an angled
There's a
aerial
better
view.
angle where you're looking at,
This?
yeah, thank you. Thank you. There's, okay, all these picnic tables gone. There's one picnic table back here, I resin the top of it, it's there. This is all empty. There's one pot right here, arbor's gone. There's an umbrella right here that goes with that picnic table. And all this, there's a little seating area back here for customers to sit and lounge. I mainly did it for the husbands, so the wives can go shop. Well, they don't want to shop, and they love it. And I put a little TV out there. They can watch sports, take their time, and it works. And then the guys come in off the street and they join in. And this
Yeah, but
is
where's the parking?
right here. They can. I have to pull my truck in to drop stuff off, and when we have customers just like Casa Verde. They are allowed to pull their car all the way up. I can get all the way to way back here, almost to the bonsai tree, and that's all completely open. And that's how I leave it. That's how I like
So
it.
for 2 spaces, you have plenty of room to pull in.
Yep.
And to exit.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you have to back out or can you?
Well, we advise everybody to pull in straight. Where the problem lies is you pull it straight, it's safer. Because, like Sabrina was saying, at Casa Verde, there's kids running in and out, especially probably 10 times more than Casa Verde's street. It's just nonstop. And so, literally to make it safe, they'd have to do a 30-point turn to get their car turned around so they could pull out nose first. That would be the safest way. And even backing up right here when I load my stuff, I try not to ever block the curb. I
The
can
sidewalk, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, the sidewalk. I can get my truck all the way in. And my truck is a big Silverado truck. And I can get all the way in there, park my truck, and get whatever I need, drop off, pick up, and so can the client, the customer. But I don't like to cross the curb because people also give me the finger and freak out because they're on their bikes, skateboard, walking their dogs.
Is the curb cut,
that's the
so the
one
curb
way.
cut's on the left side.
Yeah. Left
Yeah,
of that
and
sign.
this is free parking.
So that's the
right
library.
Here. This
Well,
is
yeah.
free
No, we've
parking,
been
like 2 feet
Yeah.
away
a
from,
few times.
and Rare Society does not want, I just talked to the GM, and they do not want cars there. All the customers come in from Rare Society thinking, they tell me, oh my gosh, I love what Rare Society did to the side of their house for the customers. I'm like, no, I did that. I promised them to be nice because there was a wall up right here from the prior owner that blocked it over here. I said, I promise I'll make it nice. I redid a fountain right here that was historical to the house. It works again. And yeah, it's unbelievably beautiful. All these shrubs are all gone. All this stuff is moved all the way over here. So you get parking from, I think I got us an extra 3.5, 4 feet from here all the way to where there's a pole where Sabrina's dad used to put the chain. And there's a pole here you can't see that's visible now where he put the other side of the chain. And Rare Society, I asked them about it, and they do not want fumes, a Sprinter truck, a van, people also parking and leaving. And the GM said, well, what I told her was, they're closed on Tuesdays. They're only open at 4 p.m. every day, but Tuesday they're closed. We're only open till 6. That's 2 hours for them to allow us to have 2 cars to park back there. He said that's not a big deal, but he does have to go through corporate, and that's just the way they work. And
So you have talked to the neighbor.
oh yes, yeah, and they love our
And the
store.
complaint didn't come from them, I'm assuming. It was
Yeah,
just
waiters, waitresses, they come into our store. It's just a double win for us. We make it look nice, and they have something to look at when they're here. I have bird noises out there, crashing waves.
Okay, so-
it's beautiful.
as long as
And
you're,
Rogers
as long as you're presenting.
Mhm.
You know that one of our issues is the visibility
Right.
of the historic structure. And again, I understand that things change, in terms of display, but as I look at this, because you're set back, I mean, I can't even hardly see.
There's that's
The
the
building.
most there ever was. I just got done with these tables right here, and those are all gone.
Okay, so I
And
think,
everything's gone.
given your statement,
Yeah,
then you can tell us what you plan to do
I've already
to
done it.
reveal the building.
Oh, I've already done it. That's in my video.
Okay,
it's
and
been
something
done.
that the city can
Yeah, it's
hang
been
their
done.
hats on,
It's,
right?
Yes, it's awesome.
So where do we
Yeah.
take, because, some of those photos, I mean, the horse and the dinosaur, I mean, those are massive, and they have an impact on not just the visibility of the historic building, but the perception of that, with our, let me just finish.
I'm sorry, yeah.
So, and I can see, I think, wasn't there another view where it was sort of at an angle? It was aerial, but you could see more of the property. Not that one, there was another one, I thought that was it. No, that's it?
There's a dirt one with the Riverside.
Oh, that was
What?
the
With the Christmas tree was
there,
that was the project
No, that's not it.
location.
Okay, must have been the
The
other.
other one.
There's a picture with the Christmas tree right here.
Yes.
Well, what I'm getting at is you
That was
have, it looks
correct.
like you have
Yeah.
display area around the corner
Right
on the
there.
side.
That's current, within the last
Here.
2 weeks. Because I just put that tree up.
No,
and
the site, so the aerial,
All the
let's go
events
back to the
here.
aerial.
That's all
This is
empty.
the back.
Okay, let's look at that. So you have additional outdoor display area in the back.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like Casa Verde, yes. And
What
that
is
I have
that?
video of too, and that's all clear and walkable and
I mean, is it possible to put the
I did.
larger display
I did,
items in the
yes,
back,
I
like
just
the
did.
dinosaur?
it's all there.
Okay,
And that's on video. It's exactly what I did. And I've been so busy. I actually spent the last 3 weeks about 20 hours a day getting the store ready and making it ready for Christmas. And so it's walkable, it's beautiful. The lighting, the solar lighting back there in the front and back, it's no tripping hazards. Redid the driveway, made that perfect again. And this whole side shrubbery right here, all gone. That's all walkable from the front to the back. Even though we don't use it, it's nice and clean.
okay, so I think,
Yeah,
the camera's really good at kind of describing what we would like to see,
right.
because this is gonna go to planning commission. You're
Right.
gonna have to get a minor conditional use permit. And so what we would like from you is to arrange it the way you think is gonna benefit the city of San Clemente in terms of presentation of our Ole Hansen property here. And something that the city can say, okay, you're not allowed to have something that's 18 feet tall,
It's
right?
like
In
that
the
right now.
front.
It's perfect.
The parking is an issue, it's a different issue here because you're on Del Mar,
Mhm.
right? It's super impacted. And you're saying you want to keep the parking, and yet there's no real direction that I can see of how that's going to work. I understand the problem is a code enforcement problem with people coming in and parking and they're not supposed to. That's code enforcement, right? What we're talking about right now, I think mostly, is the visual. Okay, you've got a lot of outdoor, I mean, it's kind of a fun space, right? I mean, you can walk around in the front and look at some smaller things, and then you could go in the back and look at some bigger things, which are not viewed
Yeah.
necessarily Okay, I'm making a suggestion,
Yeah,
right? That's
right.
all that's
Right.
all we're doing
Yeah,
here,
it's just a
right?
recommendation.
And so it's more appealing from the front, and I'm not disparaging your artwork.
No,
Okay,
I
I think
know,
it's
yeah.
great. You know, whatever you're doing. But I think that you have to see it as a foil or a sort of a presentation from the street of the Ole Hansen structure. And out of all these photos, whether they're current, accurate, whatever, all this display stuff is having a big impact on the visibility of that building. That's all we're looking for here, right? I'm pretty sure. I mean, Zach, you correct me, but if we're looking at the impact as a cultural heritage committee, I think that's our main concern, right?
Of the visual effect of potentially allowing for outdoor display, which again, staff think that we should allow for outdoor display here with some negotiated parameters.
Right. So what I would suggest is look at the list, and like we talked about on the last applicant, and see how you can address these items so that we can come up with a solution. We're not saying, get rid of your display, right? We think it's a fun property. It doesn't need to be this. Obviously, Del Mar has a lot of character because there's a lot of variety that's going on as you walk through. But we think it needs to be organized better so that the smaller stuff is in the front. It's organized properly so it's clear where you park. It's clear where you go into the front door, or whether you circulate around the side or whatever it is. And so there's some order to what we're seeing here. So it's putting a tough, sort of a burden on the city having to, look at different displays without having any idea of how it's supposed to work.
I think
Right.
they took a picture of that display that was.
But we get it. I mean, you haven't had
I
this.
think they did it on purpose. The one with the Christmas tree is how it looks. Why is not the picture with the Christmas tree faced this way as
Yeah,
well?
I don't think there's anything
There's nothing
adversarial.
there. That's
We're
why-
certainly not
yeah.
trying to be
Yeah.
adversarial. We're trying to
Yeah.
work out a solution so you can
Right.
keep your business going.
Yeah,
I think
I
I
think
understand the
we got it.
parameters of what you wanna see. You wanna complement the building, not blockade the building.
Exactly.
So I get that.
But please
and-
get it
but-
today.
So
Yeah.
what I'd like to move on to, if I may, is something that was mentioned in the zoning administrator meeting, is this notion of, I remember I think it was somebody at Casa Verde actually, in their hearing brought up, what about all these other businesses that are providing no parking all up and down Del Mar? What about them? And the zoning administrator said something, I'm going off memory, something to the effect of, well, there are a bunch of businesses that do not provide the parking that they're supposed to provide. There's many of them. And they said, well, why aren't you going after them? What's going on with them? Well, they're in this sort of, in summary, limbo state of, we're not going after them, but they're out of compliance, and there's some verbiage that applied to that. And then he moved on from there. So just an observation I wanted to make is, and my understanding is there's some nuance in this in terms of what is in the best interest of San Clemente. You've made it very clear parking is a problem in San Clemente. I understand that. But we also have a situation where San Clemente is consistently granting the ability to restaurants to pay money and be able to serve people and take up parking spots on Del Mar, very close by, multiple restaurants. So we are taking parking for that, and that's considered in the better interest of San Clemente. Take parking, we are, I'm assuming, getting money for it, and patrons are being able to eat outside. A big hotel's gonna go in, that's gonna be a big demand. So there are reasons why in these nuanced areas of what's in the best interest of San Clemente that we can evaluate what's going to be required and do a minor conditional use permit and evaluate parking. So we've got this situation here where we're next door to the library. One question is there public parking nearby? The public parking is so close, it is within feet. There is public parking at the library, number one. That's pretty strong when you combine it with this particular building in the heart of Del Mar that is, if not the earliest, one of the earliest buildings built in San Clemente. We've maintained it that way. It's a standalone. It's adorable. It is open to the public with open beam ceilings and hardwood floors. It's a gem. It represents the heart of San Clemente, of this place by the sea. And is that where you would want to exercise discretion if there's nuanced ability to say, we're not gonna mandate with this particular use today, that you have the parking, because it seems to overall, when we look at all circumstances, the totality of the circumstances, the better use for the public right now, for the use that's in there, for the use I'm willing to allow as an owner or support, let's go with a display that complements the building, that isn't too big, that doesn't block the building, and whatever reasonable parameters that you want to put down, I'm going to embrace those. I'm sure that Terry will as well. And let's have a pretty front with some unique display items and people that go see this store. And we're not going to mandate that you also require parking right there. Because my opinion, I don't know if you're going to do parking with display items there. I don't know.
So I guess maybe you guys are, I'm a little confused. Are you
I'll respond.
arguing, okay,
I think what you just need to do in your application is request that you get a waiver for parking, or you talk to staff about the off-site parking and say, we prefer not to have parking in front of our building. How do we do that? And I would support that, because for the exact same reason of the last building, the cars in front of the building are obscuring the view, number one, and I think that goes against what we're trying to do. Number two, this is somewhat different from the last place in that it's on Del Mar, and it's very busy on that sidewalk at prime time. During the day, not so much, but Sundays, it's packed. Saturdays, it's packed. Saturday night, it's packed. I think people parking in there would be a safety issue. So I would support you working with the staff to say we would like to have a configuration where we don't have on-site parking. What do we need to do? And work with that. Maybe they'll look at the adjacency of the library and say, you're right, we can make a finding that there's adequate parking next to or with the open free parking. Or whatever it is, work that through with the staff. And I would even recommend that you would organize your front so it's decluttered, the view is there, but it's also maybe organized in a way that signals to people that there is no parking here. This is not a parking lot. So that's what and I think that's all we need to say. And I think if you could just work that out with the team, with the staff, the things you've already done to declutter, and I will give you the same offer I will come by
Yes.
before the meeting,
Spot.
walk through with you, and listen to your issues, concerns, give you, how the hearing's gonna work, so that you're comfortable coming back to the planning commission, because it's a little different setting. I will explain all the steps, how it's gonna work, what you need to be prepared for. And I think you're good.
What I'd like to know is that when we come to planning, and you alluded to this with Casa Verde, I think.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page. Like
Yes.
this is kind of, we know what we're doing,
Correct.
and we've kind of worked this all out. And I have a request. Is it possible, since the city would want to see this done, the parking for the library, that's the city. And the city has certain agreements with, for example, Terry mentioned Rare Society, either the library, Rare Society behind, they're not using their parking most of the time. And there's certain parking agreements
I mean, behind your building.
behind
Yeah.
with
That's what I'm
with
just
the
saying.
city. I'd like the city to actually facilitate and help get this done. So it's not me trying to go to Rare Society or him going to Rare Society corporate, and then they're worried about their parking agreement with the
Yeah.
city.
I would just say, that's kind of not what I just said. What I'm saying is, you first have to take the step of going to the staff and saying, based on the feedback we got here at this, it's called design review. It sounds like there's an openness to not provide on-site parking. And
For-
yeah, but
for your building.
let's make sure that's what they.
I don't
did.
want to forego
I
permanently.
heard you say you want to keep your parking.
For future use.
For
future
Like, there's
uses.
an accountant later on that wants to lease the building, an office use, and another attorney. The attorney was there for 50 years. another attorney maybe that takes.
Yeah, we're just talking about this use.
Just
right now.
this use.
Yes,
If it's an attorney, it's a whole different.
yeah, it's
Right.
a different use
Scenario.
and then it changes. So
Right.
Yeah.
for this retail use, I would just say go to staff and say, we would like that. We would like to not have parking. How do we do that?
Well, let's clarify. Is that what you're asking for?
I think, I'd like to get your
Yeah.
input. We've talked about it a lot.
All the years that Sabrina was prosecuting criminals and putting them in prison for 20, 30 years, I was doing commercial real estate, and I did a lot of deals with cities and worked through process like this. And I picked out a lot of issues on this particular one to put you guys in a really difficult situation, and the city in a really difficult situation. And one of the things I've seen as a bypass of some of the situation here is that a lot of the uses here are walk-by traffic. They're going to other establishments, other locations. Their parking has already been counted towards somebody else's use. But the last use was talking about Billy's taking all the public parking next to them. Billy's is a use that's there, and they're having their employees park all there, and their customers are parking there. Their customers eat there, and they walk by this building, they go in the building, and it's being counted by the city as a use at that particular site. So it can be counted as both. But one's using significantly more than's allocated to them, and one is walk-by traffic benefiting from Billy's using way more.
So how many employees do you have on site typically?
One person runs the store.
I mean, I think
That's
we're
good.
approaching this backwards. Zach, what is the number of required spots of this for this building? Is it 2?
It's between 2, or it could be interpreted as more, as you mentioned. If they expand the outdoor use, the planning commission or decision-making authority could say they need more, but it's a minimum of 2.
Okay, so you're looking for 2 spots. And right now, what I'm suggesting to you is you do not accomplish that with the front, that the front be no parking. Because it blocks the view of the building. It is unsafe because the turning radiuses aren't there. And the adjacent use is not compatible, having cars parked next to the outdoor seating. That's it. And then you just go, so we do need to get credit for 2 spots. How do we do it?
But I guess that's the point, is if you're establishing that as a criteria, then you're saying, pretty much using that going forward for the next use as well, because you're just saying, making a statement that parking there is dangerous.
I don't understand.
The minor conditional use permit is tied to this use.
And this
Okay.
building. So you're taking it down a wrong path. Forget
The next
precedent and
Okay.
what you're saying applies to the whole world. We're just talking your site, just your building.
just this use,
And
not the
just
building,
this use.
not the building, because you're saying the
Just your
building is
use.
dangerous to pull in there. Is what I'm hearing.
Well, but you know, a different building, a different site might have the same use, but not have the same site distance and backing challenges that yours does.
Mhm.
So he's just saying it applies to the way your building and your site and your use are configured together as
Together.
well.
When you compare
If
parking
you were
and
to
this
say,
use,
tell
is
me
an
this
issue.
is an accountant office, different conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to you're not understanding us. We are trying to accommodate you. We are trying to help you. I understand this is frustrating. I understand this zoning administrator was upsetting to you. So let's just understand something. This is a reset.
Okay.
We're here to help you.
Okay.
We want you to succeed. And we're recommending to you a path forward that achieves your goals, which is to have your use, have some limited display that's well presented with no parking. And then you would get a permit for that. So that if in the future a concerned citizen calls up and says, hey, what are they doing with all this stuff? The response will be, it's permitted.
Okay.
And you move forward, and it's not turned into a code compliance. The reason why it's a code compliance issue is because there is no permit. And what we're trying to do now is grant you that, figure out a path to the permit.
Great.
The permitting hearing will not be zoning administrator, it will be the planning commission, of which 3 of us sit, I chair it.
Okay.
And so what we're trying to do is set you up for success now.
Great.
So when you come to the planning commission, you get your permit.
And can I ask you pragmatically, when you say you're going to go to staff, which I will get on immediately,
Yes.
who are, just can you give me the practicalities of that? Or is,
These guys.
Call them.
so
You just do
basically,
the site plan.
okay,
You just show where you're going to put your outdoor display.
okay,
If you're going to try to get a parking waiver or a parking agreement, we're going to have to look at that information and see what's available and try to put together an agreement per the zoning code. And the
And
findings.
they will make a recommendation, and so let me just help you right now. Guys, since this is Del Mar and parking is already impacted, and because of this particular use, I think if the easy reach for the back spots, like if they could just do a sharing with Rare Society and the spots in the back, if that's great, if that works with them and it's easy, cool. If it's not, bring a waiver recommendation to the commission because because we have the impacted parking, we know. And we know that, there's a lot of reasons why that waiver would make sense. So that's what I would just, if it's easy, cool, like with the Rare Society in the back, great. Or if you guys say, well, we can make an exception because they are adjacent to public parking and it is significant, cool. But if those two things don't work, then go bring the waiver.
Staff is comfortable with that.
That would be
direction.
you may disagree, but that would be my opinion.
Well, let me just ask, we're talking about these angled spaces in the front.
This is illegal. This is also illegal.
No,
this is
Steve,
a
we're talking
30-minute
about parking on
space
site
here.
in here. Yeah, those are illegally parked.
This is 30-minute parking, and this is a meter.
But maybe we could
That's
strive
not even a spot for the
We
white
can't,
cars.
unfortunately,
Right,
it's limited because of the,
drive approach.
There's a red
drive
curve, I
approach,
can
but
see.
also
Well, the white car and the black car where the curb cut are, so those
the
are
hydrant.
illegal.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of it.
I think, again, it's the same as the previous. If, you should have it open, so if somebody wants to just come in for pickup or delivery, they can do it, and then they leave, but the rest of the time it's open. It's only for pickup and delivery. That would be it, and otherwise no parking.
I think the public parking we were talking was the library. Is that possible?
I'm not sure, we'd have to see what spaces are already allocated.
We wouldn't need to allocate you there. We would not allocate city, we would not do that.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
that's
that's
kind of
not a
for
good idea.
We would not
everybody.
do that. We would just
And it
give
benefits you, obviously.
A waiver
But it
based on
benefits
that.
us.
Yes.
Based on the proximity?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's very simple. You talk to the staff here about that. And then if it makes sense, you just go to the Rare Society like, hey, you're not open during the day. We are open during the day. Is it cool if we use 2 spots in the back? If they say yes, you're done.
Okay, and that's something that you can help facilitate?
No,
You
No,
do
you
they're,
got
they're
to
not,
that one.
You do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll,
Yeah, I could do that.
You-
if you
It's just a
get
conversation.
verbal
Yeah.
from them, and we can start to try to do research to make sure that there's an agreement that can move forward. But we have to make the findings for that.
Yeah, we're trying, like Cameron said, we're trying to help you, but we're also trying to help the city, and we're granting potentially an opportunity to eliminate the requirement for parking on your property with
Based
this
on
this
use.
For this
Right.
Okay.
use.
But the city's losing 2 spaces.
And 2
And
waivers.
even if we don't, I mean, is it even possible to add those 2 angled spaces in the front? Or is there another way to do loading of your artwork in the back? So that, because, we'd love to gain those 2 spaces. We're losing the 2 on site. And they're willing to do that, it sounds like.
That back's blocked by a wall
Yeah.
and no loading or unloading on that area. It's all parking and wall. There's no access
I mean, it's
to it.
tough to lose the 2 more spaces on Del Mar, which is basically what's happening. I mean, I know they haven't really been.
That's
available.
on paper. I mean, there's been no parking on that site for years. As
Yeah.
long as he's been operating there, no one's parking.
Since 2008,
Yeah,
and
there's
before
been
that
no
was my
parking.
dad's
We're not-
office.
We're not giving up anything. It's just getting the permit, going through the findings, doing it right. So that's all. So
Can
we're
we even
following our
get
code.
1 space?
Huh?
Can we even get 1 more space?
We talked to engineering. They don't want to stripe anything, and the applicant doesn't want to lose their curb cut for future business
So they can load it,
uses.
unload it.
Yeah, that was staff's first idea too. Can we get a new space or 2 here and call it even?
I was a vendor there also 15 years ago.
So here's how the curb cut is right there.
Same. But there is actually room
I have a question, the waiver thing, isn't that something where you said coastal has to be involved?
Yeah, that's a problem. So we can make and recommend that the planning commission make the findings for 2 waivers based on it being near the library and based on actually our most recent study that Coastal paid for shows that there's actually more parking available here than there is on Casa Verde, which doesn't
Sure,
make
that's
sense.
why I don't wanna do waiver there.
It shows here that we could probably make the findings for 2 waivers, but per the Coastal Commission's interpretation, that applicant would have to go to them and request the Coastal Commission's
Yeah.
concurrence with those 2 waivers.
That's why I think the cleanest way is go to Rare Society, your operating hours are staggered, and just say, can we enter an agreement where we have access to your parking?
Okay, so Rare Society, and then my second question is, but you also could look at, not designation, but didn't you say there's something that you could use the library parking and not go through the formal waiver process? It'd be the functional equivalent of like what you're doing with Rare Society.
Rare Society has parking. They got reduced parking, I think maybe with some waivers, but they own the lot behind their store and
There's
behind their
no,
own store.
let me just say, no.
You
We're
can't
not-
do the library?
No. That is,
But I think the fact that you're close to the library obviously benefits you.
it's the
And
reason
it-
for the waiver.
And it helps justify the waiver,
Right,
but we can't designate everybody in San Clemente, everybody up
Wouldn't
and down
want
Del Mar wants access to all of those public spaces. So we can't start carving them up and saying, these 2 are for coastal abode and whatever.
Okay.
But the fact that you're right there, as a practical matter, your customers are there, 95% of them are probably in and out of that parking lot.
Right.
And it helps justify,
if we need to.
yeah, trying to do other
Like I
things.
said, the
We
cleanest-
recognize that those spaces are there and available most of the time, but we can't like permanently assign 2 of them to you.
Cameron, can I bring up a red issue that we ran across with Rare Society on this point, is that Terry's friends with them, they said, that sounds great, we're happy to do it. They went to corporate, and corporate's saying, we're not so sure we want to give you 2 spots because we may be in violation of our current lease that we have, where we have to have those designated for our store, and you're saying only 2 hours.
Right, exactly, you would do it with the hours, like from here to here.
We run into that a lot. That's the whole point of shared parking, is
Yeah.
one business is open most of the day, the other business is different. There's always going to be a
And if
little
you
bit of
just even
overlap.
do it from 8 AM to 4 PM,
Mhm.
bring it forward and
Yeah,
let
maybe
us
that's good
review
enough.
that.
Yeah, and I
We
said,
can use our discretion.
okay, great.
Okay,
Right.
you
Because it says
follow
you have to
along.
have a coterminous
Yeah,
lease,
I
and you have to
can't-
compare the 2 leases and show the city you have 2 leases. That's gonna be difficult with Rare Society.
If you, no, but if you just say, we just would like it when you're not open.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. This
Yeah,
has
that's
been
very
really
nice.
helpful.
They would love that.
So helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful.
Good, that's what we'd like to hear. That's what we're here for.
So you can give us a 5-star.
When we get the email, I will review you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll Yelp
You
you.
prefer it on
Hilarious.
Google.
You guys gotta go by there today. It's
Call Rick and let him know.
really nice.
And you know
Good
what?
experience.
I would like to hear the feedback. If you go by there and say, we still don't, this
You'll
is
get-
way too
You'll
big,
hear it
and
at
not-
planning commission.
then
Yeah,
we wanna hear about it.
We're
informally.
all residents of San Clemente,
We
so
would
we
like
walk.
to hear about it through Laura, for example.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanna work with you all and have that's the easy stuff to me. This
That's-
should be easy.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't even know that was a historic structure, because when we walk
you
by,
can't even see it.
all we see is the stuff,
That was Jurassic Park.
So
Right.
I think that'll go a long way towards what we're trying to
If you
accomplish.
tell me to remove my dad's bonsai tree,
No,
then
no,
we're gonna have a
no.
problem.
No,
that.
no.
I'm
We
gonna have a
rarely
problem
want
with that.
landscape removed,
Yeah.
except those sticks of fire, those things are.
Yeah.
All right, do you have anything else, or do
I
you
don't.
feel like we're good?
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you guys.
Okay.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much.
I know it's a high paying job and you guys doing it for the bucks, right?
Yeah.
We're doing it for the review, 5-star review, that's all we care about.
Right.
All right, for sure. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that helpful for you guys, Hack?
You also.
Yeah, so follow up with Laura as best you can, following your discussion with Rare Society.
Yeah, for
We'd
sure.
like to,
I'm
help.
motivated to not revisit this on a regular basis for the next 2 years.
That's the purpose of the permit.
Yeah, I love that.
and we won't schedule any surprise hearings. The idea is
No
we
more
work out a
surprise
resolution
hearings.
and then we have
Yeah.
a hearing.
When you're ready,
Feast for
like I
gentlemen.
just said to the previous people, take your time. the city will recognize it's in process now, so
Okay, great.
your
But
code
you
compliance
can-
case will
You
be
can
set aside.
establish, yeah, you can establish some goodwill by starting to implement some of the things that we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh,
like-
for sure.
Yeah, if you drive by today,
I wanna get
it's
this.
already been
Yes,
done.
I wanna get this handled.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you for
Yeah,
being
thanks.
a
Nice to meet
long-term,
you.
a long-term
Yeah, thank
owner.
you. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Zach.
Nice to meet you.
And the house
Yeah.
is
Thank you so
beautiful,
much.
by the way.
Yeah, thank you for maintaining it and
totally
doing such a
agree.
great job.
We
Thank you.
totally agree that it's awesome that people get to go in and experience it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
thank
think
you.
that's super cool. I like
Right.
that.
It is,
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of closing it off,
right.
you know.
Right.
People used to knock on my dad's door all the time, come in and say, "Can we just look around?"
That's awesome.
And not many people do that though. You know, some people do.
Right.
But
Now they do.
yeah, now they do.
Right.
All right,
Thanks a
thank
lot.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye. Can I mention something just before we move on?
Sure.
So this is a little pet peeve. It has nothing to do with you guys, but I just want to mention it because I brought it up and I know Jonathan knows. But the stuff that we're talking about, which is blocking the view of historic structures, I think applies to homes in neighborhoods where they've built up hedgerows of landscaping and get the Mills Act benefit, but nobody can see and enjoy their structure.
Bingo, yeah, right.
So I've kind of been beating on this drum a little bit, and so something to think about. Like
There's
we
so
take
many walls, you didn't even know there's a house in there.
right, exactly. So just when you hear me beating on that drum, maybe you guys are
Yeah.
chewing on it behind the scenes or whatever. But that's why we're saying, hey, it's important to see these historic structures, but then we have other ones.
Yeah.
Well,
that are
especially
totally
like you
not
say, when you get the Mills Act benefit.
Exactly,
And yet you can't see it.
exactly. So
Yeah,
anyway,
point
just something to
noted.
mention.
Yeah.
Good point.
The hedge thing we can work on the landscaping, on having standards in the code, which mostly apply to new landscaping. Mills Act properties we have the right to inspect, so we can do that periodically.
But I don't think that it's in. I think there's houses where it's like, it's not in the Mills Act contract where you must keep the landscaping, low and so that the structure is visible.
Oh, you're saying just make that a part of our template?
It should be part of the Mills Act template, yeah, that you have to.
I don't. And when people go for renewals,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, did you have anything else?
Nope,
Before
that's
we-
it. That's my little soapbox.
Okay. So there's no new business, no old business. Do we have any oral or written communication? There's no
No
audience.
one today.
Okay. Do I have a?
Do we move to the special meeting that you guys want next week? Close
Yeah,
to
what's
that?
up with that?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, we should do
Cameras at
that.
5 p.m.
We are planning to have that meeting. There was an applicant who had wanted design review at this meeting, but it didn't quite make it, and we're hoping to squeeze it in before the year. So that meeting
Rasta Tacos?
would occur at 5. Rasta Tacos would occur at 5 p.m. on December 17th.
Don't we have a planning commission meeting on the?
Well,
So
we
we're
do.
saying do it at 5.
We're doing 5 and
The
6.
request was to have the special meeting from 5 to 6, and the planning commission at 6.
Okay, so we need to.
So if you'd like to adjourn to that meeting,
So I'll move we adjourn to a special meeting of the Design Review Subcommittee, December 17th at 5 p.m.
But that meeting will be here and then we'll go upstairs, or how's
No,
that
I think
gonna
we'll
work?
probably have it upstairs. We'll notify the public and the interested parties.
Okay. So I'll
Location.
I'll make that motion in the council chambers.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. I prefer having the meetings in here, so we don't mind walking. It's a little too formal.